I heard a knock on the door in the middle of the night. I made my way downstairs, opened the door. It was the police. The officers came in. They sat me down at the kitchen table and said, "It's your husband. He has been killed in an accident." My mind started racing. How could this be happening? I looked up as if I could x-ray through the ceiling. What am I gonna tell my 5-year-old son asleep upstairs? Still in shock, I put my hands on my belly, as if to tell the baby inside of me, it's gonna be all right. But the truth is, I didn't know if anything would be all right again. It was just crazy. There was so much going on. But at least financially we would be fine, I thought. My husband was an ambitious man. He was working very hard and getting promotion after promotion. He was a high earner and a high spender too. But he was convinced that in a few years he would be a millionaire. He had plans, but he didn't plan on dying. And I am an investment professional. I knew the importance of saving money. I was earning, saving, and investing some, but investing was more play than priority. I also chose to follow my husband's career, which took our family to the Netherlands, to New York, and then back home to Switzerland. And this hurt my career and my capacity to earn. I was still making a good income, though, but it was just half of what he made. And here I was. We had just bought a house. I was about to have a second child all by myself in Switzerland. Switzerland, a country where childcare for 2 children isn't just expensive, it's a luxury. And in the middle of the emotional struggle, my mind was now full of new questions like, will we be able to keep our house? How will I pay for childcare? What happened to a rock-solid financial situation? And as I reflected to my life's decision, I realized that, as a woman, maybe the odds were not really in my favor. Maybe it's like if society works in a way that whatever we do, we end up with financial uncertainty. And we are not alone in this, by the way. It happens across species. Take the Australian bowerbird, for example. Female bowerbirds take their time to select a male with a strong DNA. Male bowerbirds work hard to attract a female by building a nest. He's like, hey, you up there, look at this nice nest. I built it for you. You don't have to lift a wing. Come, see the treasures of blue bottle caps. And she's like, oh, blue's my favorite color. How would he know? But all bowerbirds love blue. But he's so great. We're going to be so happy together. But he's not just a builder, he's also a magician. Once they get together, the male disappears. And there she is, left alone to finish making the home, do all the childcare, and build a nest egg. But it's not her fault, no, his. It's just how bowerbird society works. And when I first heard that story from a friend, I thought, I'm not a dumb little bird flying around without a clue. This story has nothing to do with me. Or does it? Women take time off for maternity leaves, and then we shift our careers to second gear to care for children and household responsibilities. It's normal. Because of these choices and other reasons, our careers stay behind, and our wages don't rise as fast. It's normal. And so women are much more vulnerable to financial hardships, like losing a spouse, to divorce, which happens 50% of the time, and to retirement, which happens, well, 100% of the time. And because women live longer and pension systems are getting smaller and smaller, we should have more saved up for retirement. But women, on average, retire with 40% less than men. It's normal? Wait a minute. It's not just me. It's systemic. We hardly question it. It's ingrained in our culture. It's normal. Women, now almost half of the global workforce, still defer financial decisions. Instead of making conscious decisions about our financial future, we have other priorities, and we blindly trust that it will be just fine. And sure, there is progress. Like the gender pay gap has improved tremendously since the 1950s. Today, European women make as much as 80% of what men make. At the current rate of progress, we might even catch up in 87 years. 87 years. You see now why we don't have time to wait for massive social change. And if we make less, we have to make more out of what we've got. Women need to invest to compensate for the financial disadvantages that they face and create financial stability over time for themselves, their families, maybe even the planet. So I finally decided to take investing seriously. I needed a plan. But on TV and in the financial sectors, they want us to believe that investing is a game, an aggressive game where someone wins and everybody else loses on a quest to beat the market. The truth is the data doesn't back up this approach at all. In 2012, the Observer ran a year-long contract between 3 teams to see who could beat the market. The first team was made of a fund manager and a stockbroker and a wealth manager with decades of experience. The second team was a group of school children. Each team was given £5,000 to invest in 5 companies. Every few months, they could change stocks. Which team do you think won? After a year, the investment experts spit out the kids with £5,176. Oh, the third team. An orange cat named Orlando with very limited investing experience. His investment strategy was throwing a toy mouse at a grid of numbers. And Orlando, the cat, who couldn't even read the names of the companies on the chart, beat out the investment experts with a grand total of £5,542. Orlando the cat gave us a moment to pause. Many women don't like to invest because they say, I don't know much about investing. My partner is taking care of this, so I don't need to worry about it. I should talk to my bank. They are the experts, right? I have a blog on investing for women, so I hear this all the time. And now we all know what a great investment expert looks like. But here's another picture of what a great investment expert looks like. Study after study shows that women outperform men on the stock market. If you compare the performance of a man and a woman after 30 years of investing, the average woman ends up with a portfolio that's worth 25% more than the average man's. If only she chose to invest. So, when should you start investing? Now. But what if now is not the right time to start investing? Like Roberta here. When she was 22, she decided to start investing in the stock market. She put all her savings, and then, boom, the stock market crashed by 50%. She was like, this was the worst idea ever. What was I thinking? She stops investing, but she doesn't sell anything. And then 15 years later, she decides to try another time. And then again, the stock market crashed. And then again, and then again. In total, after 40 years, she has invested $184,000. And despite having invested at the worst possible times, she still managed to invest to end up and retire in 2012 with $1.1 million. Wow. Just remember, it's not timing the market that counts. It's time in the market. But there is a trick. This only works if you have low fees. The difference between 1% and 3% in fees is huge. It's it's about 700,000 after 40 years. It can even be more than that. And if you go to your bank and ask, so how much are your fees? They would tell you something like, it's only 1%. But then often they're throwing administration fees, safekeeping fees, trading fees, performance fees, front load fees, end load fees, load of rubbish fees. And suddenly the hidden fees eat a big chunk out of everything you earn. Research shows that the key to success in investing are low fees, long-term, at least 10 years, diversification, and consistency. So people ask me, if we are not going to the experts, where do we go? The easiest place, with results almost as good as a cat, is a robo-advisor. Robo-advisors are companies that use an automated software to help you manage your investment according to your profile. So you end up with a low-cost, well-diversified investment portfolio in which you pay into consistently over the decades. Remember, invest for the long term. The biggest reasons human investors end up with poor outcomes when it comes to investing is that they make emotional decisions, like second-guessing themselves when the market goes crazy. Robo-advisors are neutral. They help you avoid costly mistakes by investing without the drama. Which brings us to another obstacle that women often have when it comes to investing, which is thinking like, money is not that important. The truth is, when you have money in your hand, you can use it to create positive change in the world. And the best way to do that is with a gender lens. Invest in companies that have women on their boards and in senior management. Because investing in gender equality also helps social development goals, from reducing poverty to improving access to education. Women-led companies also help to better the environment. And it turns out, such companies take less risks, yet they have higher profits and they generate higher investment returns. But it's not just about the return on investments. Responsibility is a word that now impacts all my investment decisions. In fact, it made me become what I now call a money activist. What's a money activist? It's not when you go to protest and throw cash at people. Being a money activist simply means that I use money for positive change, for myself, my families, and for the cause I believe in. Imagine what would happen if all of us would invest our money in the companies that meet high standards in gender equality. When the companies that don't qualify for money see the amount of capital they are missing out of, they will get motivated to change the conditions for women, which in turn would have a positive impact on the environment and the society. This is how we vote with our money. And if you're like, well, that's great, but how do I even start? You already know the template. Register with a robo-advisor, preferably one which offers a gender-led portfolio, and invest consistently for the long term, starting now. Because when it comes to investing, the worst you can do is do nothing at all. We all need you to invest for a better tomorrow. Thank you.